Welcome to our monthly review of the PR pitches and mergers and acquisitions scene in UK public relations with Andrew Bloch. Andrew, you don't know, is lead consultant, PR, social content and influencer at the new business consultancy firm AAR, and he's also a partner at PCB Partners, where he advises on the buying and selling of marketing services agencies. As I say, we'll be taking a more relaxed approach over the summer with the PR Moment podcast. We won't be doing weekly shows, but as and when something pressing in public relations occurs, that we'll suddenly hop back on the pod. Finally, I should also thank our PR Moment podcast sponsors, the PRCA, who I see have got a new CEO this week. So congratulations to Sarah Waddington for that. A richly deserved move from interim to the new full-time and permanent CEO. Andrew, welcome back.
Thanks, Ben. I just wanted to echo my congratulations to Sarah. I think it's a fantastic appointment and excited to see her at the helm.
Absolutely.
And also very excited about our relaxed approach to the summer. Equally excited about that.
Everyone needs a relaxed approach to summer, hopefully. So, I mean, when you sent me through what we've got this month, I should say, I thought, blimey, it's busy out there, isn't it? Is it historically busy, or is it just always like that in July?
It's busy. I think it's always quite busy. I have a bit of a theory that since COVID, people are more protective of summers, Christmases. They work hard to give themselves a little bit of a break in that period because we're always on and the way we work is slightly different. That's my theory. It's not proved. I also think what we're starting to see and what we've seen in June and July is a lot of the big pitch processes which started off at the end of last year, beginning of this year, sort of we're 6 months into that. They've come to fruition. They've made the appointments. They're announced. So there's a bit of that as well, and there's a couple of whoppers we're going to talk about that have landed in the last month or two. There's also quite a bit of change. I think the big holding groups, we've all seen what's going on in the sort of big five, big six holding agencies. There's been a lot of change at the top, jockeying for positions, a bit of chess, some sort of negotiating big contract stuff coming in, stuff going out, and we're starting to see the impact of that as well, and that's not going anywhere. I think that's going to continue certainly for the rest of the year. We're going to see some quite big moves happening.
Right. So there's chess between. When you say chess, you mean there's basically agencies are winning some, losing some. If you see what I mean, there's movement in that regard.
Yeah.
I mean, you raise an interesting point. There's no technical way of knowing this, but do you sort of, with your position, I guess, with the AAR, do you see the market expanding currently, or are we just seeing movement between agencies? And I know that's a tough one to answer, but because what we all want, of course, is the market to be expanding.
I'm seeing growth. So I think, we're going to talk in a second about the Mars business. The VP of Corporate Affairs for Mars, Andy Farrow, he actually said as part of this pitch, we're putting earned first thinking at the heart of what we're doing. I think, without spending an entire podcast on it, it's not hard to get attention. It's not hard to get eyeballs. There's, you can get your stuff out there, but as it becomes easier and easier to create reach, the need for attention, the need to, just because something is getting impressions doesn't mean it's making an impression. And this is where earned first thinking comes in. And we're seeing a lot of big pitches put social into PR. I mean, there's still lots of pitches happening that are sort of social owned agencies, but I see it growing because we need to create that attention. We need to cut through. You saw it at Cannes, a lot of the great campaigns were earned first, even if they weren't from PR agencies, which I think is a bit, again, another subject. We won't get into that. But yes, I won't start you off. I know your views on that. But I'm seeing growth in the sector, which is obviously a good thing. And there's no way that's going to change.
Yeah. I mean, according to Cannes, the most creative PR campaign in the world is one where your train ticket was converted into a lottery ticket. And there wasn't a lot of earned coverage in the campaign either. But anyway, that's for another day, Andrew. So yes, I mean, potentially good times. There's potential. The world is the marketing world is hopefully coming PR's way. Andrew, that you're kicking us off with a big one this week. News from Mars.
Yeah, so this is a big pitch that, as I said sort of earlier on, this started I think in November last year, this review. So it's for Mars, the whole of their global snacking and their pet care business. It's significant, and it's been won by Weber Shandwick Collective. So for those that don't know, Weber Shandwick Collective includes obviously Weber Shandwick, it includes Golin, but it also includes That Lot, which is the social media agency within the group, Flipside, digital transformation. IPG did already have a relationship with Mars, but this is a significant expansion on that. As part of this whole pitch process, the WPP lost out to Publicis on the media, the paid side, the influencer side, which was again like hugely significant in terms of scale, in terms of fees, in terms of the work. So Weber Shandwick have won the earned media globally, and they've actually created a whole new agency model within Weber Shandwick Collective, which you often see for this accounts of this scale. It's called One Mars. It goes across 6 continents, 70 different markets. You know, this is big. It's all of their snacking stuff.
Was the PR bit, the earned bit, previously with WPP?
It's a very good question, which I don't know the definitive answer to. I think it was across a few different agencies. I know Edelman handled the corporate side of things, and they will continue to do so. I think it was with a few different agencies. Potentially Petchem had a bit of it. I don't know that
it wasn't wrapped up into the same deal that WPP lost to Publicis, and then Weber came in. It's a different thing. Okay.
Different part of the pot. Yeah. So yeah, it's big. You know, all of the chocolate brands that we love, M&M's, Snickers, pet care is, you know, Pedigree, Caesars, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, look, this is transformational for any agency to win a piece of business of that scale. So they'll be dancing around the halls of IPG, I'm sure.
They picked up a few things, Weber, recently, because they had been a bit quiet, but they seem to be getting a bit of momentum back, and this will no doubt help.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think with the big holding companies, it is a bit of a sort of game of chess and moving around these big accounts, and there's definitely been big wins for all of the holding companies in recent months. There's also been losses, you know, which they're obviously not going to shout about as loudly, and I'm not saying that specifically to Weber Shandwick. I'm talking about all of the groups. There's been quite a lot of movement, but I think it's exciting times to be part of a big group. There's big opportunities. It's also quite scary times. You know, there's a lot of movement, a lot of consolidation going on. We've seen lots of changes at the top of these agencies. It's a time of change, which brings with it opportunity, brings with it threat. Yeah.
Another agency on a roll is Headland.
Yeah, they've won Pladis, which might not be a name that you're familiar with, but they're the parent company of McVitie's, Godiva, Jacobs. This is a corporate reputation brief. It's the 10th anniversary actually of Pladis, who, you know, I think it's fair to say more famous for its brands than the sort of corporate mothership, which they're keen to change that. And it's all about, you know, being able to recruit, retain the best people, to develop relationships and partnerships with stakeholders. There's also a bit of a sort of social impact side to it, some global sustainability work, and this is a global brief, so it's working with all of the local corporate comms agencies in the territories. And yeah, That Lot actually were recently appointed for the social, so again, sort of a win for Weber Shandwick Collective. The consumer side is Taylor Herring do some of it, Romans do some of it. So they've got some great agencies on board.
Yeah, if I start a packet of Jaffa cakes, that's it. I'm not stopping. As you're not getting put back in the cupboard. A double win for Tin Man.
Yeah, they're an agency that continues to win at pace. 2 wins, very different. One is Bella and Duke, which is pet wellness and nutrition, premium sort of raw pet food. The other is Lelo, which is a sexual wellness brand, which I googled that to do some researches, but their brief is all about being tasked with shifting the narrative around pleasure without being shamed for it. So, you know, be interesting. I always think brands like that are fantastic clients. They open you up to be creative in a very intelligent way. So
yeah, you have a lot of fun and important work. Ben Partners have one. They seem to have cropped up a bit in recent months.
They're one of these agencies that seem to consistently win, and they have won Global Flower Services, a corporate and sustainability piece of work. Global Flower Services is the association of, I think it's 29 national flower delivery businesses, including the most famous of those, Xplora. It's a network, so there's like 30,000 different florists across 144 countries, and the brief is all about raising the profile, promoting sustainability within the industry and the broader market. So yeah, fascinating piece of work.
Who knew the flower trade was so organized? But yes, I mean, we all need more flowers, Andrew, so again, nice to see. And Ranieri, who is, I mean, I sense this was a big win for them. Is that right?
Yes, I would think so. They've won Hisense, which is the home appliance consumer electronics manufacturer. It's a brief that crosses PR, social, influencer, paid. You know, Ranieri, they're doing a great job at the moment. They're very, very strong in tech. Great clients: Asus, Braun, JBL, Kenwood, DeLonghi, like loads of brands. This is an interesting one. Included within it is the sponsorship of Leeds United, the FIFA Club World Cup, as well as a product side of it. It's even a whole range of stuff: domestic appliances like washing machines, fridges, ovens, dishwashers. They're also still working with Hatch. PR, I'm not entirely clear on the sort of division of roles and responsibilities. I don't really understand that particularly, but Hatch, another strong agency.
Yeah, I mean, they're another. I mean, they're on a great run, aren't they? The growth numbers coming out of Hatch. I have this little chart I keep of all the sort of employee number growth on kind of LinkedIn and the revenue things that you can get. I mean, Hatch are on an absolute roll in the last little while. So
good agency.
But yes, I mean, Ranieri they've got working some good brands, aren't they? Just
great brands. I mean, Pietro Ranieri is one of the good guys in PR. He's a hard-working, bright guy. Just, you know, not necessarily someone that's always in your face, but you look at what he's done with that agency and the work they're doing, and exceptionally good.
Yes, I was lucky enough to sit next to him at dinner the other night, and he's a very nice man, very true. And I see from your notes that they've got DeLonghi as a client, and we've got a very good DeLonghi coffee maker, you'll be pleased to know. So
supplier to PR Moment.
Exactly, I would very happy to endorse that. And Harvard, I mean, that's a great story, isn't it? Harvard, they had a tough time a few years back, but they're on the comeback trail.
They had a really strong year last year. It doesn't show any signs of slowing down for them, which is good to see. They've won Salesforce, so this is a big one. It's a dual brief, so it's overseeing the international comms hub, working alongside local markets, but it's also developing social and marketing content in market. So they're working alongside Method Communications, who are doing the US side of things, they were appointed a few months ago. Also Fleischmann Hillard, who are handling the UK and Ireland side locally. But, you know, look, Salesforce, one of the biggest companies in the world, cloud-based software. This is a nice win, really, really.
And a really impressive, because there would have been a few up for that one, right? I mean, that would have
been
a competitive pitch.
That would have been a tough one, pitch process. So.
And good to see a win for Red.
Yep, we have for Red Anker, life-saving products. If you have a mobile that's always running out of battery like me, consumer comms for Anker. So they do everything: chargers, power banks, headphones, speakers, printers. This is like right in Red's sweet spot. You know, they've got their digital team, Shiny Red, who's going to do the social and influencer side of it. Red, super strong in consumer tech. Currys, PlayStation, some great clients. So, this is a classic, launching products, increasing brand awareness. They are great products.
Well, I mean, first of all, I've never been very good at reliably having a power bank in my bag. So that is definitely something I need to sort out. And my children have lost yet another pair of my headphones. So maybe I shall make my way onto the Anker website after this show to buy some stuff. And yes, I missed our order a little bit, didn't I? Brand Nation, another win.
They're, again, look, it's an agency that I'm involved with, and they're doing very well. They've just won a really lovely piece of business for Xplora, which it's a Norwegian tech company, but very, very purpose-led. And they have smartwatches, smartphones, and it's all about products and software that enables families, kids, seniors to stay connected and safe. It's a brilliant story, and this is an integrated brief, fits very much into their ethos of creativity multiplied. So it's PR, it's influencer, it's creative comms. The brief is to grow their presence in the UK. It's a Norwegian brand, but yeah, Brand Nation are on a good roll. Jeremy Page has just joined the senior leadership team. Keep your eyes peeled for a storming 6 months ahead for them.
And also news from MHP, Andrew.
Yes, they have won Equinox, which is a digital infrastructure company. They've won the corporate PR side of this, spearheaded by their tech team, which they created last year when they acquired PCB Partners. This is a deep tech story. It's all about how Equinox infrastructure underpins the tech that shapes our world. For those that don't know, and hands up, I didn't know before I researched it, Equinox got 200 data centers globally, and they provide the digital infrastructure to, so many huge companies. I think the stat is sort of over 50% of Fortune 500 companies get their digital infrastructure via Equinox. So it's a bit beyond my pay grade to understand exactly what this tech and digital infrastructure company does, but MHP will be spearheading the communications around corporate side of what they're doing.
All a bit data centery, but yes, we all need those sorts of businesses. So well done to Equinox and well done to MHP.
Yeah,
news from Stacked and Munch.
Yes, so Stacked and Munch, the PR arm of Stacked, have won Glide, which is a really interesting disruptive currency platform. What they do is they allow users to send and receive and convert more than 50 different currencies without the hidden fees. So often in this sector, there are hidden costs, hidden fees. What you think you're paying or receiving or isn't exactly transparent, and they're going to demand transparency in this sector. So removing the hidden costs, the buried fees, and the BS that sort of comes with it. It's a digital PR campaign. It's all about driving leads. It's also a corporate PR job on the founders, some personal branding, profile raising. I'm particularly pleased about this. Obviously, I have an involvement with Stacked, but when Stacked acquired Radioactive last month, a big part of the reason for doing that deal was to improve the digital capabilities, but also to add a B2B arm to Stacked capabilities. So this is the first B2B win that has happened as a result of that acquisition.
Right. And another win for Smarts, who seem to be making a bit of a habit of winning big.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't get much bigger than this. They've won Asda. Anyone who knows anything will know that winning a supermarket brief is extremely difficult. They're some of the most sought after pitches that crop up in the market. They're hard work, they're lucrative, they're demanding, but they're very rewarding. And Smarts have won the consumer PR. Asda, it's a big year for them, celebrating their 60th anniversary. I mean, I don't need to tell you, they're massive, 140,000 employees, serve 16 million customers a week across over 1,000 locations. It's interesting what Smarts, I ran a pitch that they won last month via AAR, which for the People's Postcode Lottery. It seems like it's what I would call a sort of fabric of the nation brand. I don't know if that's a good descriptor or not, but People's Postcode Lottery. They've got British Gas. They've got Rightmove. They've got, these are great brands that really, brilliant work by Greg Jones and his team. They're exceptional to win 2 accounts of that size and stature back to back.
Yeah, no, it's definitely impressive stuff. And also a nice win for your old mates, Frank.
Yeah, really nice win. They have won Fish and Chips, which, for those that remember and of a certain age, is a savoury snack brand from Fox's Burton's. This is classic Frank. It's all about reigniting brand love and nostalgia around this 80s brand. If you remember them, it's fish and chip shaped biscuits. They're great. They really are great. And they kicked it off with a campaign last month around National Fish and Chip Day with Chris Kamara serving biscuits out of a fish and chip van. Quintessential brand with nice cut through talkability style of work.
Love Chris Kamara. Nice win for PC Agency, right in their sweet spot.
Yeah, Guatemala tourism. So PC are on a great roll at the moment. This is across the UK, US, Canada, Europe. It's actually a process run by the government agency INGUAT, or INGUAT. I'm not quite sure how you get that across. It's a big one. It's worth $500,000. Because it was a process, you see some of the details. I always think it's quite interesting. So 10 agencies were involved in the process, and PC Agency came out on top. It's media relations, trade engagements, digital comms. It's a big account for them.
They are some of those national tourist bodies. They are big accounts, aren't they?
They are. So and look, PC Agency, they're just building momentum. I think they're expanding their global footprint with different overseas offices. You can't turn on a TV without seeing Paul Charles these days, and it's obviously paying off. He's very good.
How is travel? Just as a little aside, a couple of years ago, post COVID, travel went on a real roll for a couple of years. Is it all right, or is it doing a bit better than that?
Yeah, I think obviously was a rough couple of years for obvious reasons,
but then it came out and it grew
back with a vengeance. And I think any form of change, it stops you in your tracks, and you reevaluate what you're doing, and you pivot and you change. So there's been lots of change in the sector, but tourism is back with a vengeance, and there's lots of movement in the sector, lots of growth in the sector.
Well, we're both going on holiday, aren't we? So we're doing our bit. So
yeah, I like to do my bit for the global tourism economy. So.
And now, talking of holidays, I had a copy there the other day. I didn't stay, but there's some Pancras Hotel that's got a new PR firm.
Yeah, it's a very nice hotel. Palm PR. It's actually, there's a relaunch going on. So it's, I hope I get this right, but it's the former St Pancras Renaissance Hotel, and it's being rebranded as part of Marriott's Autograph collection. And that's what Palm PR have been tasked to handle. It's consumer, it's trade, influencer, etc., etc. Palm, not sure if this is their first mention on the podcast, but they're a great agency. They specialize in luxury travel and hospitality, so it sort of makes sense. They've got a great client list: Headland in Cornwall, Kimpton, Elissa in Mallorca, Hilton Bankside, Molly's Soho House. So this fits in very nicely into their sweet spots.
And worth shouting out, we're really keen for this show to incorporate all comers, aren't we? If you've won something, if it's an interesting win, we will cover it. So thanks for that, Palm PR, and welcome to the club. A nice win for Diffusion.
Yeah, they have won Ordnance Survey, the national mapping agency. It's a corporate and B2B job, thought leadership. Again, the details of this are public. It's worth up to 96,000 across 2 years. It's not huge, but it's an iconic brand. And I think, what's interesting in this is it's such a great opportunity to bring to life stories that are sort of hidden within data and how locations shape the world around us. Marketers handle the global broadcast side of this and have done for a number of years. I'm going to say like the last decade or so. It seems like forever they've done that job, and that they're not impacted by this. They will continue to handle the block broadcast side of Ordnance Survey.
Love an Ordnance Survey, Matt. Don't use them enough anymore. With our friends from Google, but yeah, they're great. And we talked about Hatch earlier, didn't we? More proof of their fine run.
Yeah, global brands they've won. VK and Hooch actually brought back memories of my time at university drinking far too many Hooches. And Hooch is having a sort of comeback, actually.
Well, nostalgia is one of the trends of our of this current era, Andrew, and Hooch have tapped into that. So
so Hatcher, it's a corporate and consumer brief. It's 6 figures. I mean, as we said, Hatch, good role. They've sort of got offices in London and in Leeds. I've got a feeling global brands are based in the north. I might be wrong, but I think they're a Manchester-based brand. But
they're global, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're based in the north, but irrelevant. So Hatch, you know, they look after Patron Tequila, Bet365, Continental Tires, Hisense, great brands. So.
It is. And it keeps happening for the earnings, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's great to see they're one of the new hot agencies on the block and show no signs of slowing down. They've won Just Eat. I mean, this is significant. Global consumer PR brief, retained strategic creative support. They have been doing some sort of campaign activity. I think this is an expansion of that. There's lots of work around. They did lots of work around the Champions League final in Munich last month. They're also supporting the ongoing Did Somebody Say campaign, which has featured some of your good friends, people like Snoop Dogg, Katy Perry, most recently Christina Aguilera. But it's the first time Just Eat have had a global consumer PR agency. And I think, I've said this before, I'll say it again, for an agency that is so new and of Ernie's size to win a global brief for a brand like this, phenomenal. I don't think there's many industries in the world that where a company that's, I don't think they're even 2 years old and they're working for a global brand like that. You just don't see it. And it's really exciting to see that they can beat off some of the more established players that I'm sure they fought along the way to win this brief.
Yeah, it is great, isn't it? It is a dynamic sector. Do good work, and good things can happen.
Exactly.
News from Words and Pixels.
Yes, news from Words and Pixels, another agency that I advise, another agency that is on a great run. They have won Prep Kitchen, which is meal delivery service. It's really strange. I don't know why this sector seems to, every significant meal delivery service that is out there has pitched in the last 3 or 4 months. I don't know why. Prep Kitchen is a great one. They've got Anthony Joshua as their ambassador. They've collaborated in a limited edition range. So a really good story here, but it's going to be, it's a competitive sector. What I like about Prep Kitchen is they've got a very strong identity, very clear mission, very strong product. But yeah, HelloFresh went to John Doe, I think last month or the month before. Field Doctor was won by Shook earlier in the year. They're all out there pitching. I genuinely don't know why. I guess because it's an opportunity to build on a sector that's in growth, and they're all upping their game, and they see one of their competitors hire a great agency, so they all want it.
Do you subscribe to a sort of meal delivery service, Andrew?
I trialed Field Doctor for a while, and actually once I finish my relaxed summer, I'm going into full-on health mode again, and I'm open to offers. I'm going to be selecting my new meal delivery service.
We had a go. We found a bit pressurized to sort of keep eating what was delivered, if you know what I mean. We sort of needed a bit less frequency perhaps, but I kind of enjoyed the because you do get to try new stuff, don't you? But
meal prep for a busy entrepreneur like you, you just don't have the time for it. And as a result, especially when you work at home, it's far too easy. If you don't eat properly,
no,
you're eating too many Jaffa cakes. And
spare omelette on toast fills a hole, and you move on.
Yeah. You need, that's why something like Prep Kitchen is interesting. You've got its proper nutrition that's delivering you the right.
All right. You don't need to go into pitch mode, but yeah.
No, I mean, they all do it. That's the benefit of doing it, is you're eating well and you're eating your protein.
We'll do it after our relaxed summer. We'll trial some and see which one's better. Hope and Glory, another win for them.
Yeah, I mean, consistently winning this agency. This one I like. I think fascinating brief. You sometimes see wins and you think, I'd love to work on that. It's for the Royal Ballet and Opera. They're going to be launching the new season, which, as you know, is in September as a seasoned opera frequenter.
I've never been. I've never been to the opera. Have you?
Amazing, yeah. I mean, it's not a regular thing that I do, but yes, I have been to the opera. They've actually gone through a recent rebrand. So the Royal Ballet and the Royal Opera they are now the Royal Ballet and Opera as one. So this is a brief about promoting ballet and opera to more people and connecting it with new audiences. I would imagine, it's seen as being fairly elitist and attracting a small crowd that, they want to broaden that out. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Hope and Glory do. It's in their sweet spot, real creativity, I'm sure. It's going to be nice to watch that one from the sidelines.
Fine. And St Mungo's have got a new agency.
Yeah, they are a homeless charity. They've appointed the Academy. It's their first ever consumer PR agency. It was always good to see. It's an awareness improvement brief. So Mungo's works in partnership with local authorities and health colleagues and communities to end homelessness and help people move forward, rebuild their lives. So it's really, really worthy work. It's teams sort of walk the streets every day, every night, looking for people who need help. And alongside boosting brand awareness, it's going to help people understand the charity's services and what they do. We're in a homelessness crisis. No one should be homeless. The Academy's super smart agency, both strategically and creatively. So I think, cut through for any charity is difficult. You need an agency that is smart, and the Academy is smart. So
and definitely one, as a society, we need to try and be better at, because there are far too many people who are homeless. News from the fan club.
Yes, they've won the Sweaty Betty Foundation. So you might be aware of Sweaty Betty, the fitness clothing brand. This is a charity that they set up to encourage women to get into sport and overcome one of the key barriers to female sport participation, which is the changing room experience, which is not something I was ever aware of, but I'm not the target audience. So it's an integrated brief, consumer, corporate PR, really interesting work. I mean, Fan Club, a great agency. I've really loved what they did for Who Gives a Crap, which is the toilet paper brand. They do some really good work for Humankind. They do some Formula E work. They're an agency, again, that probably punches above its weight in terms of the scale that they are and the clients and the work that they're pushing out. They're relatively small, 10 employees, but brilliant work.
Yeah, absolutely. And women's Euros coming up, so it's a really important summer for women, for women's sport, isn't it? And anything that can encourage participation is a good thing, no doubt about it. And news also from 360.
Yes, so 360 have won Debenhams Group corporate support for online retail brands, which is Debenhams, obviously, but also Boohoo, Pretty Little Things, Karen Millen. So the Debenhams Group was previously known as Pretty Little Things Group. They rebranded earlier in the year when they were bought by Boohoo. So it was a deal that was done in 2021. They were acquired for 55 million when they closed all their physical stores, and Boohoo bought the digital rights and the brand name, and they became an online marketplace. So it's a really interesting brief. 360 is part of the Casbar Group, most well known for exposure, PR arm. They seem to be on a good run at the moment. They won Forest e-bikes earlier in the year. I think we talked about it on the podcast. So yeah, really, I mean, there's so many issues and challenges and opportunities within that brief. So
yeah, no. And exposure certainly aren't. They're always such a strong consumer agency, aren't they? I missed the opportunity to give Paul Lucas's column on Creative Moment a little flag earlier. So if anyone who doesn't read that already, he does this fantastic Creative Corner column each week, which I don't think we never really have to sub it. Paul is an excellent writer. So if you don't subscribe to that already, then go over to Creative Moment and you can subscribe for free and get Paul's insight on the best creative work in public relations each week. Nice win for Burson next, Andrew.
Yeah, we're ending on a high, our PR win. So Burson have won TK Maxx. This is a whopper. So it's European, it's consumer fashion and homewares retailer. They've won the PR, the social, influencer work, campaign creations, awareness raising across 6 key markets, so UK, Ireland, Poland, Germany, Austria and the Netherlands. It's a biggie. I don't know the fees. It's going to be significant. Great win for Jonathan Hughes. I think it's his first big win since he took up the role.
He's only been there a month. I don't know. Do you reckon he's claiming that one? Do you? I suspect it might have been before he got there.
I would imagine, knowing John, he would have had his fingers in the pie with this one. It's not going to be a pitch that sort of happened last week. It would have been going on for some time, but I would imagine, I'm pretty certain that he would have some involvement with that, and certainly should be very happy about it because it's a flagship client.
Be careful, he was on gardening leave. Don't claim his involvement.
Maybe it had nothing to do with it, and I'm a big fan of him and the work that he does. So maybe I'm giving him credit for something he had nothing to do with. But it's definitely be celebrating the win. It'd be down TK Maxx in the aisles.
Yeah.
Are you
a frequent TK Maxx customer, Andrew?
I like it. I think there's some great bargains to be had. You've got to be in the right frame of mind to hunt them out. But I can sometimes be spotted in the rows of TK Maxx when I'm not on Bond Street or something.
I haven't been there for some time, but maybe that's something that should change. Right, moving on to our M&A activity. Some interesting deals this month. Not loads, but some interesting ones.
Loads. I mean, I think the M&A market is steady. There's deals happening. It's not slow. I would say it's slower. Deals take, there's caution in the market throughout, with everything, and that reflects in the time it takes for deals to take place. But there's a steady trickle of deals, and I predict when we talk again in September after our well-deserved summer hiatus, there'll be a lot to talk about. But so there's a few we're going to talk about today. Inkling have merged with 8 and 4. 8 and 4 is social and content agency. Inkling Culture, which is sort of creative comms, PR, it's their sister firm. They've merged together. The Inkling name is gone, which is a shame. That's quite a good name for an agency, but it makes total sense. It's a consolidation which takes them to 80 or so people, of which about 25% of that was from Inkling. Some big clients within this group: HSBC, Sandals, Cancer Research UK, Screwfitch. 8 and 4 was founded in 2008. They went on to sort of then form the 8 and 4 group, which has got within it Feed Films, which is a content and production company. I would imagine Feed Films will become part of 8 and 4. I think, what sometimes happens with groups is they have these separate divisions, or they acquire, and then they look at it and they think it doesn't really make sense for us to have separate brands. Like, we can be one brand that is strong in more than one area.
Yeah.
For other groups, they like to keep the difference and have the separate identities. So, but I think 8 and 4 they're a very, very good agency.
I was on the 72 point boat party last week, and I was sharing a brewdog with the guys from Inkling in 8 and 4, where I learnt about this merger. So yes, as you say, it makes sense. It seems to me, and use some supermetrics as well.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Supermetrics is one of the leading market intelligence platforms, and they've acquired Relay 42, which is a real-time customer data platform. So it's very tech. They're both high growth players across Europe. It's going to create what they claim to be the industry's first truly end-to-end marketing intelligence platform. And I think breaking that down into sort of plain English, what it means is it's going to enable marketers to unify performance data with first-party customer insights into something that is a sort of single actionable view. I don't know if that was plain English or not, but
no, I get it. I mean, what's your sense? How many PR firms subscribe to services like this? A few, but yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I mean, I think you can't really get away from subscriptions of some sort as an agency, and depending on the size and the scale of agency will depend on how much you subscribe to, but whether it's sort of media monitoring, whether it's social listening, or whether it's market intelligence or data, you know, I think building tech stacks is a part of any modern PR agency. The key is using it intelligently, not having a massive drain on your cost base for something that you're not using to your advantage. But, you know, there is a trend in MarTech consolidation, because I think any agency looks at their cost base, and when they've got too many subscriptions going out, they start to panic a little bit and worry about it. But
well, it's that end old, where are you on the spectrum? You want a specialist tool to do a brilliant job versus if you have numerous databases in which, you know, they are all in effect a database. You know, you replicate effort and time, and it's not very efficient and all that sort of stuff. So it's a tricky one, isn't it?
I mean, look, a lot of the bigger agencies are building their own proprietary tech, which you know adds to valuations if they ever want to get acquired. But the reality is, it's quite hard to build things that are proprietary and truly differentiated.
Well, we had our AI and PR conference, AI and PR masterclass last week, which is very good, Andrew. I think you spoke at the Growth Forum one, was it? I can't quite recall.
Yeah, I would have covered this one, but I was just warming up for the summer season with a short.
Fine. You were having a holiday before you, a pre-holiday.
I mean, anyone who doesn't understand AI and the implications of it for the industry, you know, you're an idiot.
Yeah, but where I was going with it was a lot of we had some nice case studies there of tools that PR firms had developed. I know, you know, very niche, quite specific. Like there was an AI training platform. There was Effie Kanuya did a really interesting her Lila product, which is in essence a tool for a plug-in tool to help with your PR workflow as well. So it was quite interesting that you've got rather than trying to take the whole business and aim at that, you just start with nuggets and problems that you have and build from there. Which is a variation on a theme, obviously.
I'm already starting to see a lot of briefs come in from brands and clients that want their agencies to help them navigate the world of AI. You know, a lot of it seems to be around search at the moment, and you know, it's obviously had a major impact on how brands show up in search, and so they're seeking advice on how to navigate that. But you know,
someone described that area as white hot to me the other day from a brief perspective. So,
and you know, look, I'm fortunate enough to be involved in building a group with staff that has AI like right at the heart of it. But it's there's lots of decisions to be made in where do you invest, what do you do. But the key to it is having a model that is built around AI and knows how to navigate and scale with it. It's a fascinating area. So white hot. So this deal is a big one. It's following this trend in the consolidation of marketing tech companies, MarTech companies. Supermetrics is significant. I mean, it powers insights for 650 or so enterprise brands, a couple 100,000 businesses globally. Relay 42 is all about helping businesses turn sort of siloed customer data into personalized customer journeys that will drive growth for businesses. They've got big clients between them, Air France, Levi's, KLM. It is, it's a big deal. It's a consolidation play. It gives them scale, gives them this end-to-end platform. Now they've got to flog it.
Right. Okay. Maybe you can help with that, Andrew. I should add the recordings of all 10 masterclasses from last week's AI and PR show you can purchase on the prmasterclasses.com website if you fancy that. And a really interesting deal just to finish this off, Andrew, which is bearing in mind we launched PR Moment Leaders, our subscription training program, sort of 18 months or so back. It certainly made me stop and think about this one. Brave Bison have acquired Mark Ritson Mini MBA. Just talk us through what's happened there. Very interesting deal.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one. So the Mini MBA is an online marketing education platform fronted by Mark Ritson. It's a sort of, it opens up for Brave Bison as a new skills and capabilities division focused on marketing training, skills development. The Mini MBA has been a real success, 6,000 or so delegates a year.
I mean, that is extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, I know you're going to talk about the rest of the deal, but 6,000 delegates a year taking that Mini MBA is, I mean, well done to all involved, because that's a proper number in a sector that is a little bit hesitant, I think it's fair to say, about training. So
I think, looking at it from the outside, what they did, Mark Ritson built a brand. I mean, and this whole concept of a Mini MBA, I mean, it's not really an MBA, is it? But it's a very well-respected
I mean, it's
platform, and it carries credibility, and he was able to sort of use his personal brand to build that as something which was worthwhile, credible. You get your certification at the end of it, and that meant something. And I think
well, essentially, I mean, did the Mark Ritson brand become a bigger brand than Marketing Week? I think it probably did in the end, didn't it? So that's really intriguing.
I mean, it was a business that was previously owned by Centaur Media, it's worth saying. But I think strategically this is a smart deal. There is a growing need, as you know, for training and education in such a rapidly evolving marketing landscape. So I think the timing of this is great. It's a clever deal. Mark Ritson is allegedly going to become sort of a top 5 shareholder within Brave Bison. So I think a lot of the value of this deal comes in shares. And Mark Ritson was smart that clearly when he sort of did the deal with Centaur, he held on to a lot of equity. I don't know the exact details of it. The headline number of this deal is 19 million. I think from what I can figure out, there's $1 million or so in cash, 10 million plus in shares, and the balance is sort of based on the performance in future years of how the company does. But Brave Bison are such an interesting company, and if you don't know about them, sort of look at them. They're AIM listed. They were the guys that bought Social Chain. Earlier in the year, they bought The Fifth, which is a really, really strong influencer agency, and they bought that from News UK. They're very entrepreneurial. They're building a group that is very modern, very set up for the world we're in at the moment. I know everyone would say that, but genuinely that's what they're doing. They've got very strong social, performance, digital. Now they've got this sort of skills and capability division. I'm sure this won't be the last thing they buy in this sector. They're, fascinating company and run by really great guys. 2 brothers run it. They're lovely, lovely people, lots of integrity, very dynamic. So this was an interesting deal. It sort of, I stepped back and had to kind of read the fine print to get my head around it and how it worked. I think it's a great deal for everyone.
Great. Andrew, I think that's that mammoth show takes us to the end. Thank you very much for that. Enjoy your summer hiatus, and we'll catch up early in September.
Look forward to it, Ben. Thank you very much.